broadcast is a Stephen K. Media production. The success of the small business. This broadcast is a Stephen K. Media production. The success of the small business person is the cornerstone of the American economy. Welcome to the Small Business Today Show with your hosts, Cruz and Hughes. The Small Business Today Show is for and about small business advancement and development. What we do for you. We'll be taking your calls as we provide you small business intelligence and mentorship needed to grow your business creatively. Keep listening. The Small Business Today Show with Cruz and Hughes starts now.
Hello and welcome back to today's episode of Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes right here on Blog Talk Radio, where we broadcast Monday through Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. If you want to join our conversation, if you feel so compelled to do so, you can call us right here in the studio at 347-857-3958. Again, the number here is 347-857-3958, or you can go straight into the Blog Talk chat room and bang out your questions, your comments, your statements, and our producer Stephen K. is standing by to make certain that we give attention to what you've put in the chat room. Irv?
Yes, sir.
How was your day today, sir?
I had a great day, man. The weather was just phenomenal.
It cleared up. The sun started shining.
I tried to stay out of the office all day.
How did that work out?
It didn't work out at all, man. I stayed in my office just buried in papers.
Man, and you know, I have this window in my office.
Yeah.
And it's like being locked in the classroom during recess on days like today.
I know, man. I felt like I was in a giant timeout. It was unbelievable.
Well, nonetheless, our day is picked up. We're back here together. We're doing the show.
That's right.
We have a great guest today, so we're not going to spend a lot of time doing the Irvisms and and the Johnisms.
No, let's get to it.
Let's jump right on this.
Let's get to
our
it.
guest today, if you are watching us at www.cruzandhughes.com, you'll see a lovely lady sitting to Irv's left. Her name is Joan Jefferson, and she is an entrepreneur, an executive coach, a speaker, and among other things, she's also the CEO of a company called Dragonfly Strategy, which is a media and marketing consulting agency, and she's been a longtime friend of ours and a longtime supporter of what we do here. And I want to say welcome to the show, Joan.
Thank you, John.
We have finally gotten her here. I've been telling you about her
for
I
know.
About 5-6 years.
I know, at least. At least. I don't know why she wouldn't come on the show.
I'm embellishing just a little bit, but we have been trying to get Joan on the show. She is one of the ladies that I really, really respect as it relates to building yourself from nothing, starting from scratch. You have a phenomenal story, Joan. I'm so happy that you're on the show today, and an hour just doesn't do this justice, but nonetheless, we're going to do our very best. Now, let's first start out by identifying what you do. I want to introduce you to our audience, and I know you have a two-tiered approach to your business. Mm-hmm. One is Dragonfly Strategy. The other is your executive coaching and your personal coaching. Let's talk a little bit about what you do in both directions.
Okay. Well, Dragonfly Strategy is a media consulting firm, as she said. Mm-hmm. And I've had 30 years experience in the medical field, where I began to consult probably in the mid-90s as I was building practices. Mm-hmm. And when I left one practice, the one I'd been with the longest, I had this great idea that if I ever went back into the medical field, that I wanted to do something that would make a difference. And I had a vision for that. Mm-hmm. And so born out of that vision, I created several very successful businesses, and was not only involved with consulting with surgeons, but also building their brand. And at the same time, I was a patient advocate. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to work with a niche group of women that I knew needed services and did not know where to go to get them. And of course, through that, there's a lot of support that is needed. And so from that, I created Dragonfly Strategy, which is basically, we work in the medical field primarily, bariatric surgeons, plastic surgeons, almost any surgeon or any group that wants to build a practice either from scratch, or if they're in the process, if they already have a practice and they're having difficulty, we come in basically and intuitively create strategies for them.
Now I want to clarify the fact that you are not a physician.
No.
But you've made millions of dollars
yes.
from the medical business. So,
yes.
for those of you who think that, the only way that you could do well in medicine is that you have to be a doctor. Joan is living proof that that is not the case.
That is
So,
not the case.
so, and when you talk about building practices, what is the level of expertise that you bring to these physicians? Why can't they build their own practices?
Because most physicians know what they know. They know how to operate. They know how to treat their patients, but they know very little about building a business. In fact, many of them don't even see their practice as a business. And so if you ask the average person, what is it that you are selling? And by the way, we're selling all the time. We're selling ourselves. So in the aspect of creating something where you have a lot of competition, in a city like Houston, you have well over 168 plastic surgeons. So how do you set yourself apart? They don't know how to do that. And it really has to do with having a good marketing machine behind you, which I have always prided myself on building something, and really built it alone for up until about a year ago.
Wow.
Just began to hire staff. So I did it all. I created a call center that would take in the calls that came in on radio or TV advertising. I trained all those people. I've created just a tremendous business model for surgeons. And in all of that, as I began to learn what my own talents were, I realized that most of what I'd done was done just intuitively. I just kind of knew what to do.
Really?
Wow, that's outstanding. Now, Joan, I've got you. I got to circle back to something you mentioned earlier, and that is that you had a vision for this.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, there are a lot of people, a lot of our listeners and viewers out here who have business models. They'll tell us, "Hey, I have a vision for this," but you and I both know that there's a vision, and then there's the execution of that vision. What was it that made you believe that you could actually execute on the vision that you had?
That's a very good question, because when I got the vision for what I wanted to, and every business every successful business I've had was really born out of vision.
Sure.
And so when I got the vision, I just really saw a picture for what it could look like. I didn't know how to. We never know how to until we do. Right? So I figured that the how to was really not my business, that all I had to do was to hold the vision. And then as I held the vision, it's not just holding the vision, but you see yourself in that place.
Sure.
And it is so real to you that the people, places, circumstances come to you. You're actually drawing to yourself everything that you need to successfully create. So I can look back on businesses and see where every single thing was created as I look back on it. Now, when you're in the process of that, the key thing that I think you have to have very clearly is, what is your vision? So even the group of people that I'm coaching now, we have spent a month on, what does the vision look like? How do you get to the vision? And the vision comes not outside of you. It comes from within you.
Sure.
And as it comes from within, it's almost like it's indelibly, it's just etched in your brain. Like every day I think about my current vision. When I got the new vision to create a new business, it was just like the first one I had. And so now I'm going back and understanding what I did to create the first business that was successful for me. It was all born out of vision. So vision is key. And I don't think that you can know where you're going until you have a direction. You got to have some idea. And actually, every time I've envisioned anything, at the end, it's bigger than I thought it was going to be.
Right. Yeah. And I know that feeling.
Yeah.
You know, when you get started and you're so dedicated to what you see, then it turns out to be much more than, it's maybe a little speck on the horizon now, but as you move in that direction, it turns into a mighty city.
It's huge.
Now, let's talk about the visioning process for just a moment. You're also an executive coach.
Yes.
You're also a personal coach.
Yes.
Now, is this something that you can impart or teach your students?
Yes.
Because, I mean, there are some people, in my opinion, who have all the academic know-how to run a business, but they lack that vision. They really lack that sense of direction. How do you teach that or train that person to see that?
Okay, I'll tell you how I do it, because I'll tell you how I did it, because everything that I know, I've experienced. I read lots of books, but I can't say that I picked up a book and it told me what to do. After I had created a very successful business, I hired a coach. And my coach said to me, the first thing I want you to do is I want you to go into meditation and tell me where you see yourself in the next 3 to 5 years. Now, if you say that to the average person, a lot of people don't meditate. I had been meditating off and on for years, but at the time that she asked me to do that, I don't think I'd meditated for a while. But within about 20 minutes of my meditation, I got a clear vision of where I was going to be in 3 to 5 years. And then how you know you have a vision is that in a vision, a true vision, will always you'll always have a great deal of emotion about it. Because you are actually living in vision, which is, by the way, the name of my coaching is Living in Vision, because I believe everything starts with a vision. So when I got the vision, I saw myself, and I mean, tears just began to roll down my cheeks because I was there, and I was there with the audience I saw myself there with, and I was so passionate for what I wanted to do and what I wanted to teach. And so there's some I would say key factors that you have to look for in a vision. And part of it is that when you have a vision, it isn't just about you. Okay. And it isn't just about the money. It's really about being in service. And so I know that I'm here to serve people. And I want to teach people how to build from nothing, because it's not that difficult to do, but you have to get in touch with yourself. And I think one of the key things before you can even build a vision is that you have to know who and what you are.
That's good.
Man, that sounds like some of the stuff we've talked about in the past.
I know.
I mean, and believe me, I mean, Joan is bringing this full circle for us, because these are the very topics that we talk about on this show, is knowing who you are, and then the fact that your business has to be more than just about you. I love that concept, that it's got to be more than just about money. It has to be more than self-serving. And Irvin always says that you can't have what's called a self-centered business model, which I really appreciate.
That's right.
Now we're going to go to break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about your story. I know that you have an event that's coming up here in the city. So for those of you who are in the Houston area that watch our show religiously, we have something great in store for you, and we'll see. I don't know, maybe or perhaps it will be streamed on the internet. I don't know. We'll ask Joan when we return from the break. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes right here on Blog Talk Radio. It's brought to you by Small Business Today magazine. I want you to stay with us. We'll return in just a moment. But before doing so, if you want a copy of the magazine that is for and about Houston's entrepreneurs, go to smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com, input your information, and we'll send one each and every month to your email inbox at no cost to you. More in a moment with Miss Joan Jefferson right after this.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? My answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruiseandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Our guest today is Miss Joan Jefferson. Joan is an entrepreneur, an executive coach, a personal coach. She's also a public speaker. But in addition to those things, she's the CEO of a company called Dragonfly Strategy. We've spent the last segment talking a little bit about her businesses. Now, we also finished up on vision, but you had a point that you wanted to bring out as it related to vision and how important vision is.
Yeah. What I want to say about when you know you really have a vision, your vision, it will scare you. When it's right, it is so big that you're saying, wow. I mean, every vision I've had, I'm like, oh my God. But I know it, and I see it so clearly that I know it's going to happen. And it's so sure. It's such a certain thing. And so every day you're just in your beingness because you know that as time goes on, the right events, the right people, places, it all shows up. And then one day it's there. And you have you don't really forget it because the vision pushes you every single day. Every day I wake up and I think about it.
So you're drawn to this.
I feel it even when I talk about it now, you can see I can form tears in my eyes because it's so clear to me.
Right.
And that's when you know you're in vision. And when you get that vision, you are actually co-creating with the divine mind. Because the idea did not come just from within you. The idea is synced with your divinity. It is synced with your divinity. So you're co-creating. There's no way you can fail if you hold that vision. And then you need people around you to support you. So I think it's important to not share the vision with just anybody.
Everyone, yes.
That is such a precious thing that you have to. It's just like a baby. You would nurture that baby. You would be careful who you even let hold your baby.
Certainly.
So you have to be careful who you share that with.
You know, and I love that because there are so many people, even in when I set out to do things that no one in my immediate sphere of influence had ever accomplished. When I set out to do things that I myself did not truly know if I could accomplish them. There are these vision killers that show up, and they're the first ones to tell you that you can't do it. That these people aren't going to let you do that. What gives you the right to think? You're just so audacious. To be, and you got to be really careful how much of that you allow into your mind. So I definitely agree with that. But now, Joan, I have to segue to this. You have built a successful business. You don't need to coach anybody. You don't need to help someone else who's lost their way. And I mean, you're making great money. You have a great sphere of influence. You have a great network of people who trust and do business with you. Why then are you stepping out to do something like this to help these other people?
Because I love people. I love people. I have a big heart. I always have had a big heart. I build businesses for everybody else. But the part of that is understanding what service is. We are here to help each other. We're here really to evolve ourselves. But I don't evolve myself unless I help you evolve. I don't grow me unless I help you grow. You see, it cannot just be an isolated, it's all for me. Because at the end of the day, what have you really done? You've done very little. So my coach says, we've come to do a work. And if we do everything else except the one thing that we're here to do, everything else is in vain. So I know that I'm here to serve. And I know that as I serve people, it's going to serve the community, it's going to serve the country, it's going to serve the world, it's going to serve the planet. I mean, we are really shifting in consciousness. So this planetary shift in consciousness is key. And so we all have a part to play in that. So as I evolve my consciousness, I affect your consciousness.
Absolutely.
So it's people helping people. And that's what it's about for me. And it's always been that way. Even when I would sit and talk to a woman who needs to have surgery, I'm always trying to find a gift to give her, even if it's a gift of recommending a book to her or saying something to her that maybe she hasn't heard before.
Right.
Just to lift somebody. I mean, we do a lot in little things. So it's not necessarily the big things, but, I've had mentors in my life and I appreciated those mentors. And I still have a mentor today that I love and am very grateful for, because had someone not shared with me where they've come from their journey, then I would maybe not realize what my journey was, you know, because we reflect back to each other. We in relationships, we mirror each other, and we mirror qualities that we all have. So it's important.
Now, Joan, I've got to touch on this, because somebody who has achieved all the success that you have, a lot of times, small business owners, especially when they reach whatever their level of success is, and all of us are different in that regard, a lot of times the last thing they want is a coach or a mentor. And to hear you with your level of success today and mentioning that you still have a coach or mentor that you're still very appreciative of, I find that this is a common thread among most successful people in whatever their endeavor may be, that they have somebody somewhere who they respect and appreciate, who keeps them grounded.
Right.
How do you do that when so many people believe that, well, I've reached my pinnacle of success, whatever I've set for me, and I don't need that. Now I can mentor and coach other people. What's your take on somebody who thinks that?
Well, I would say just my personal experience is this, that to get to the next level, there's always another level. You know, to me, there's no pinnacle. I'm always striving to improve. I'm always striving for excellence. So I look for people that are maybe in a place that I would like to be. My husband is a great mentor for me. He's a business owner. He keeps me grounded. I have a coach, you know, and I hired a coach because I wanted to get to another level in not only in my business, but in my sphere of influence as well. And so, you know, I hired someone that, you know, has already done what I want to do in the future. And I think it's important, because even a good sports team has a good coach.
No doubt.
You know, if you don't, and it is about teamwork. And I tell my staff that, you know, if it weren't for them, sometimes I probably wouldn't do some of the things that I do, but they hold me accountable and I'm responsible to them. So, you know, all of that, it's still about other people, you know, that you have to be concerned about. It cannot just be about you.
You know, I think that there are oftentimes, Irv, I know the people that you do business with and that you talk to who may be at a level of struggle. And Irv is in the finance business. And so, you know, he finds all sorts of reasons why a person should not be financed. And you have to go in and sort of take those puzzle pieces and sort of put them in the right direction. But how often, you know, do you get down to the point where you ask someone, well, who's mentoring you? Who are you working with? And it's nobody. And I'm thinking to myself, how can you be out here braving these entrepreneurial battles, if you will, without somebody that's sort of leading you, guiding you, and just giving you some information or insight that could help you along on that journey? And I think it's very poignant that you mentioned that, hey, I still have someone that pours into my cup, and then I continue to pour into the cups of others.
And really, John, I appreciate that, because that's exactly what I was getting at, is that you still, no matter what level of success you think you've gotten to, you still got to have somebody in the tower.
That's
I mean, you got to have somebody that says, hey, you need to change your barrel. You know, and you've got to have somebody that you really do trust and respect, because the truth is, depending on your personality, whoever that coach or mentor is, you may not necessarily like them, but you have to respect them, and you have to respect their accomplishments enough to take what they're telling you and execute that.
Now, Joan, help our listeners understand, who's the ideal client for you? If I'm an entrepreneur and I am interested in what you're saying, and I want to grow to the level of success that you've achieved, where should I be in my business before I'm ready to work with you?
You could be right where you are. You start from where you are.
Okay.
You know, we start everything, the genesis of everything. And I believe this is true, that the first thing I would teach anybody, whether I'm coaching an executive or I'm coaching a business, is to help them understand, number one, where they want to go, but who they are and what their purpose is, because purpose is everything. That's part of vision. You know, when you have a vision, you see your purpose in that vision. So I think the clients that I've coached in the past have been medical clients, but it doesn't really matter, because when I walk into a business, I intuitively know what's going on in a very short period of time.
So the principles that you that you would instill in a business, they can transcend just the medical business. So if
Right.
someone is having trouble and they're an executive in the legal field or the oil and gas industry, you'll take them on as a client.
Right. And here's why. Because everything is based on universal law. Everything is based on law. It's getting your client, the individual, to align with the laws of the universe. Most people in this country have heard very little about that. But all laws are to be, if we respect them, so there's laws that govern business. And all you need to do is be in alignment with them. And you know when you're in alignment, when you're not. When you're in alignment, things flow to you. It's not like this uphill, battle that you're trying to every day push. And, when you're in that push-pull, that is not being in the flow of life. So you're going against yourself. So when you really get someone in alignment with the law, everything begins to flow. It opens up. Because if I am so uptight that I'm trying to do, and I'm in struggle, guess what I'm going to get? I'm going to get more struggle. So you have to be able to release, and you have to become free within yourself. And when you're free within yourself, then things flow through you, and then you're in your beingness of what you're here to do. When you're in your beingness, nobody can stop you. You are totally unstoppable because it's just allowing the energy to go through. Everything is energy. We're energy. So all success is energy, all of it.
When we come back from the break, I wanna touch on the universal law. There was a lesson that my mentor gave me, and I
knew you were going to latch on to that. I absolutely knew you were going to latch on to that. Well, folks, we're here with entrepreneur, executive coach, and speaker, Ms. Joan Jefferson. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by SalesNexus.com. SalesNexus offers the best in web-based customer relationship management systems. You can sign up today for a free trial copy of SalesNexus by visiting SalesNexus.com or giving them a call at 888-267-3589. Stay with us, folks. The education continues right after this.
Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
Disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? And my answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Welcome back to the show. Our guest today is Miss Joan Jefferson. We've been talking about the business that she's in, but the bottom line is that she's in the people business, and she's in to help you turn your business around business. If you're someone who is in need of a coach, in need of a mentor, in need of working with someone who has achieved the level of success that you yourself are seeking, then I definitely encourage you to contact Miss Joan Jefferson, and you can do so by giving her a call at her business office at 713-932-4062. Again, that number is 713-932-4062. Or you could visit her website at www.joanjefferson.com. All right, now, Joan, we talked a little bit about universal principles. Mm-hmm. And the first time that or universal laws, the first time that I heard of universal laws, my mentor was educating me on it and helping me to understand that these laws govern the outcome and the order of things, whether you believe them or not. Mm-hmm. He says, just like even if you don't believe in gravity, but you go up to the 10th floor of this building and you jump off, you're going to be subject to that law, mm-hmm. whether you buy into it or not. Mm-hmm. And it helps you to understand that. And as long as you work within the guidelines of those laws, you can predict or create the outcome that you desire from your mm-hmm. life. And that was a lesson that was just sort of hit home for me. Mm-hmm. And when you make that comment about universal laws, it sort of took me back. Mm-hmm. Now, there's one law in particular that you wanted to discuss. Let's talk a little bit about that.
This is not one that you might read about often, because I kind of created it from my own experience, and it's called the law of conscious surrender. Okay. And what that is when you are trying to create something and you have no clue what to do. And I'm going to just go back to the very first time that I ever really created a business that was successful. Before I created that business, I was broke. And I will never forget sitting in my bedroom and sitting on the floor and thinking, oh my God, I'm going to lose everything I've acquired in my life up until this point. I was very depressed. And I remember when I sat there, I thought, okay, let's play it out to the very worst case scenario. And the worst case scenario, okay, you're going to lose your car, you're going to lose your home, you're going to lose your clothes, you're going to lose everything. You're going to go live on a beach. And I thought about that, and I said, you know what, could I handle that? Could I really handle living on a beach? I kind of like the water. I'm a Pisces. I like the water a lot. And in the moment that I made the decision that is okay, I could do that. In that moment, my whole everything changed. That was on a Saturday. On 2 days later, on Monday, I got calls from three different surgeons, highly unusual. They all wanted me to do some consulting work. One wanted some auditing done, one wanted marketing done, but all three different surgeons. And the idea came to me, well, go ahead and just start up your consulting business again. And I thought I'll dabble with that mm-hmm. until the real deal comes along. And from that is how I created the seven-figure income. From just that one thing. But it's when I say conscious surrender, it's important because as long as you don't surrender to that which is seeking to emerge in you, which is your higher self, then you will always be using your ego to create. And every time we do that, we're still in the struggle mode because now I'm creating out of fear. And when I'm creating out of fear, I'm just looking at really rearranging the old parts of what worked in the past. So what's working, what's trying to come through you is not what worked in the past. This is a brand new thing that's trying to seek an emergence through you being the one that will model everything mm-hmm. that is given to you. So the law of conscious surrender just simply means that you let go. This is just letting go and allow God to then direct your step. And when you're in surrender, it's almost like I liken it to free falling. You ever just think about free falling?
Right.
When you're free falling, you have a little bit of fear because you don't know that you're going to be caught until you do it one time.
Mm-hmm.
So every time I start a business again, I go into what I call free fall. It's conscious surrender. So when I'm in conscious surrender now, I'm totally in control and I am totally at peace because you know what? I know I'm going to be caught. That's a law. If I allow, then I'm going to be caught. And not only caught, but I'm going to be lifted. As you know, it's kind of like, I think of it, I can almost envision it like, I'm just dropping, and then an angel takes me up to a higher place.
Right.
And from that higher place, then I allow what is seeking to emerge through me come through.
And see, and that surrender is such a tough word.
It is for most people.
For most people, and to I think about some of the people that were my programmers early on in my life, and faith is basically the unseen, and for some people, if they can't measure it, if they can't see the outcome, if they can't predict it, then it's tough for them to submit and surrender to that.
Right.
But these are some of the things that you train when you or teach and train.
Absolutely. I had a girl tell me, and she was in one of my workshops in Beaumont, in fact, and she was having a hard time. Her husband just lost his job, and she told her mother, she said, all I could remember from that workshop is what Miss Joan said about taking things out to the worst case scenario, and to ask myself, could I handle it? She said the minute that I did that, I got a call in for to go in for an interview, which she got the job. But it was because what that does when you surrender, it takes you out of the chaos and the confusion.
Yes.
Because when you're in that mode of chaos and confusion, you can only attract more events that bring about chaos and confusion. You have got to be at a place of peace. And so when you surrender to your higher good, you know that it's coming. You don't have to know when it's coming.
Right.
Just like, we don't have to understand the laws of electricity to know that it works. We use it every day. When we go in our house, we flip on the switch. If the lights don't come on, something's out of alignment.
Right.
So
and we're angry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all of these laws are key. And yet they're not taught to our, in our education. I think it should be taught in our schools today. I think everybody should understand universal laws and how they work. That's how people can start to rebuild their lives and not be dependent on the government and somebody else to give them a job.
Sure.
You live from a place of what your dream is. What would you love? What would you really love?
And you know what, Joan, a person who can get to that place, though, is attractive.
Mm-hmm.
And certainly attracting the people, attracting the resources, attracting the circumstances, those things that will help propel you toward that vision. And if you don't get to that place, you can't attract those elements. You can't attract the rocket fuel that it takes to go there.
That's right.
Even if you can see it. And I see a lot of people who really do have a vision, because you can tell, because it moves you. And by the way, folks, if you think you have a vision and it doesn't move you, that's not a vision.
Right.
You have a wish, all right, but it's not a vision.
Now, we're talking about knowing who you are. We're talking about universal laws and principles. We're talking about those non-academic things that must be evident in you in order to achieve greatness. Now, you have an event that's coming up. Tell us let's talk a little bit about the event that you have coming up. So for those of you who are in the Houston, Texas area are about to get a special treat, and for those of you who are not, Joan just told us that you will not be streaming this event, but stay tuned. There will be other events later on down the line, and I did give you Joan's website, which is joanjefferson.com. But you're bringing Dr. Mitchell Gibson here to Houston.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about him and what those who attend should expect.
Wow.
I saw you look at your watch. It's like, man, do we have time to get into it?
Well, I kind of need to tell the story a little bit about how I met Dr. Gibson.
Well, let's start the story.
Okay.
We're ready.
I am an avid reader. And so I went to see a lady last February. In fact, it's been about a year ago. And she recommended that I read this book. And as I read the book, it's a book he wrote about 20 years ago. It's called The Living Soul. And as I read that book, I was so moved by it because I really understood that already, that I was a spiritual being having a human experience. When I read his book, I went into another dimension of consciousness, because now I understand that we are all multidimensional spiritual beings. We are so much more than we know. After I finished the book, I remember thinking, oh my God, I hope this man is still alive, and I do not care where he is. If he's in Timbuktu, I'm going. I'm going to go meet him. And so I happened to be in New Jersey the week that I finished the book and saw that I went online, saw that he was in New York doing a seminar, sold out. The next event he was doing was at a college in Atlanta, and it was in 2 weeks. So I called the event coordinator, said, I want to come. I went to Atlanta to see him and met him and heard him speak for the first time. And since that time, I have been to every event that he's done in this country in the past year. Yes, because I've read every book that he's ever written. Because I have never in my life, when I say a mentor, really sit at the feet of a spiritual master that has totally shifted how I view the world, how I view myself, understanding what my gifts are and how to bring those to a platform in a different way than perhaps I had done in the past. And I am not a person who organizes anything. I don't even organize a dinner party for 4. That is not my style. I'm very private, very quiet usually. And so when I wanted to bring him here and I made the decision to sponsor this event, I said to myself, now look at this. Look at this. Look at what you're doing and why are you doing it? And I'm doing it from my heart because I want people in Houston to have a shift in consciousness that it will be so profound. I mean, anytime I've ever gone to any event, and I don't care what the subject is, that he is teaching, it expands my own consciousness. And so I wanted to gift that to the city. So we're bringing him here February 23rd with his lovely wife. And Dr. Gibson is a board-certified forensic psychiatrist by trade.
Okay.
But he no longer practices that because he found that in medicine there were some discrepancies on how people should be healed or how they could be healed. And if you read any of the books that he's written, but particularly the Living Soul book, it chronicles his life experiences and how he started to awaken at a very young age. Right. And then in using his intelligence, and he has created now the first Center for Clairvoyant Medicine, which is in High Point, North Carolina. And we've been there. And for my husband to say to me, thank you for bringing this man into our lives because it has so shifted his business concepts and his business in general, and our lives have just been, totally blessed by these 2 individuals. And I would have to say Mr. and Mrs. Gibson are, Dr. and Mrs. Gibson are master teachers. Master. I've never met anybody in all my years, in my 6 decades of living, that have taught me more in this last year than probably I've learned in most of my life, all combined.
Well, when we come back from the break, we're going to give that information once again. But Dr. Mitchell Gibson is coming here to Houston. And I have to say this. I know that this is coming from an area of love for you because some people, when they find something so profound, they themselves try to take that, repurpose it, and find a way to sell it or to sort of taint it and reissue it out to the public. And you're trying to bring everyone in to get the same thing that you got from this. And I absolutely love that. Stay tuned. After the break, we're going to mention when Dr. Gibson is coming to Houston yet again.
Absolutely. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by RingCentral.com. To get RingCentral's virtual PBX for your business, you can give them a call today at 888-716-5022. Folks, you want to stay with us, get a pen out. You want to get this with Miss Joan Jefferson. We'll be right back.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
Or even worse,
we've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
So how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash. I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
free.
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? And my answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruiseandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show, guys. If you've been with us all show long, I'm certain that you're getting a lot out of this segment. We have a great guest in the studio. Her name is Miss Joan Jefferson. It's someone that Irv and I both respect and admire a great deal. Someone who walks the walk as well as talk the talk. And, you know, that's very rare, Irv. I mean,
That is rare air, man.
generally, we get somebody who's very good at one or the other.
Yeah, that's right, but not both. That's right.
We've been talking about Dr. Mitchell Gibson, and Joan is bringing Dr. Gibson here to Houston, someone that she respects a great deal. If you like more information on how you can get tickets to the event, you can go to www.dragonflystrategy.com/tickets. And also, they're going to give a pair of tickets away. So if you are the first person to go to joanjefferson.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, fill your information out today, right now, this moment, you'll get a set of tickets. And just to let you know that 2 tickets are valued at $390. So definitely go on to joanjefferson.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, fill your information out, and be there. I will definitely be there. So if you're in the room and you listen to Cruz and Hughes, please come up to me, introduce yourself. I'd love the opportunity to say hello to you. Now, Joan, you wanted to read us something about Dr. Gibson.
Well, I just want to give you a little bit of information about him. I did mention earlier that he is a board-certified forensic psychiatrist. But he has the rare distinction of being the only physician to win the highest award ever granted by the American Federation of Astrologers, the prestigious B.F. Sims Pounds Jr. Award, and I believe he was awarded that 2 years in a row. He is, and basically this was for his work in astrology, clairvoyance, and spiritual research. He uses his clairvoyant and spiritual gifts to work with a select group of clients. He has retired from the traditional practice of psychiatry and has now devoted his time to writing, teaching, and spiritual research. He now works full-time helping these clients free themselves from spiritual disturbances, and he has created the first Center for Clairvoyant Medicine in this country.
And I do want to say that this is the first time that he's doing a live event here in Houston. Joan is someone who has her act together. And she's followed this man all over the United States. Every time he speaks, she's in the front row. So that should tell you something. The event here in Houston is going to be February 23rd. It's going to be from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Sheraton Suites Galleria. And again, if you want more information, you can either call 713-932-4062, or you could go to dragonflystrategy.com/tickets. So we hope that these people are going to come in droves and get the same level of information that he's shared with you so often.
That will be a beautiful thing. I will also mention that included in the price of the ticket is a full breakfast. We won't be serving lunch. It'll be a break for lunch, but it's going to be well worth it. I mean,
Awesome.
I am so excited. I don't know what, I'm just so proud and honored that I get to bring them here. And I never dreamed that anything like that would happen. So
Right. Well,
I'm
you know,
excited.
somebody read his book. Didn't even know if his first book, but it encouraged you enough, influenced you to give him a call, and now you've developed a friendship with this man, and you're bringing him to Houston, and I really love the fact that you want everyone else to get the same thing that you got out of this.
Right.
But now let me segue into something just different here for a moment. Irv and I do this show because we like to give tips, strategies, tools, and engaging interviews such as this one to our entrepreneurial friends. We know that sometimes we feel like that we're beacons out in the night all alone, and very seldom do we have someone that we can depend on, someone that we can relate to on our level. And that's one of the things that you do for entrepreneurs. Now, let's talk about some of the mistakes that you see. When you do talk to some small businesses that are dealing with certain issues, what are some of the most common things that you have to deal with, common mistakes that they've gotten themselves involved in?
Number one mistake, fear.
Okay.
They have fear. People are, and it's surprising that people are afraid sometimes of their own greatness. When you say to them, let's create a vision for where you want to go, they're very resistant to that for some reason. And I think it is because oftentimes we have not given ourselves permission to be our greatest, to really shine. And that's why I say, know thyself and all thy parts, because when you know who you are, then you automatically know these things are your birthright.
Right.
I mean, anything that you desire to have in your life, you can have it. There's nothing wrong with having anything, but I find that when people are in fear, that's a very, very difficult thing to help them get over. But you help them get over it by teaching them who they are.
Our greatest fear is not that we are inadequate, but that we are powerful beyond measure.
Exactly.
Or, you know, we read that poem on the show one day,
exactly right.
And that is really the truth.
Yep. And you know what? I'm first of all, let me just commend you for bringing someone like this to our city.
Thank you.
All right. I just want to go on record as having said that, because oftentimes people who find a gem will put it in their pocket and keep it.
That's true.
All right.
That's true.
And
very selfish.
And here you are giving away tickets and feeding people to come and hear this.
Right.
And so I just want to make it clear, you know, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
How great is that?
And I want to say again, Dr. Mitchell Gibson is coming to Houston. It's February 23rd. It's going to be from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Sheridan Suites here in the Houston Galleria area. Tickets are $195 a piece. So, guys, if you have not already done so, log in to joanjefferson.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, put your information in. Joan is going to give 2 tickets away to Dr. Gibson's speech, if you will, and you'll get an opportunity to bring someone that you care about. So awesome. You care enough about this city that you're bringing him here. So I'm definitely going to be in the room. I'm not going to miss this.
That's fantastic. Now, Joan, I can't let you go because I have a question I've got to ask, and that is how do you keep come on now, how do you keep yourself balanced in all that you're doing? Because a lot of times people can get very much out of balance and create problems for themselves. How do you keep yourself balanced?
Well, I just remind myself every day that, you know, as this is what life looks like in my becoming. And so I'm so calm for one thing. I've never been this calm in my life. I owe a lot of that to the work I've done with Dr. Gibson. But I have a calm, clear spirit about me. I understand how things are, and I know that, you know, even though situations and circumstances may not look a certain way, that those are maybe facts of my life or anybody else's life. But the truth of my being is what keeps me going. See, there's a difference between what you're looking at, the facts and the conditions.
Got that. I got that, and that's good stuff. Thank you for that. That's right on right there. Folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by the Lexington Law Firm. When you need credit help, get a free consultation today by calling 888-744-7081. Stay with us, folks. We're in the home stretch. We'll be right back.
Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? My answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Our guest today has been Miss Joan Jefferson. She's an entrepreneur, executive coach, and speaker. She's also the CEO of a company called Dragonfly Strategy, which is a media and marketing consulting agency. If you are deficient in any of those areas of your business, please feel free to give Miss Joan Jefferson a phone call. You can do so at 713-932-4062, or you can go to her website, jonesjefferson.com. Again, just to remind you, if you're in the Houston, Texas area on February 23rd, you most definitely want to get you some tickets to see and hear Dr. Mitchell Gibson, who is a board-certified forensic psychiatrist. He's coming to Houston. It's an all-day seminar from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tickets are $195, which includes breakfast, which will be served promptly at 8:30 a.m. And the title of the program is going to be Discover Your Spiritual Energy. Now, Joan, we have 2 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to ask, I know you got a book coming out soon.
Oh, yes.
See, how did I know that, Earl?
That's awesome, man.
I mean, because you have so much locked away in you. I mean, it's got to come out in more than just your speaking engagements. And tell us a little bit about when you think you might decide to release something.
The book is going to be finished by the end of March.
Okay.
And hopefully it'll be released in the summer.
Okay.
The name of the book is An Uncommon Dialogue.
An Uncommon Dialogue.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
It was given to me a long time ago.
Now, when Dr. Gibson comes, I'd love to have you come back and let's talk a little bit about that program and how it went. Because I'll be there, so I can definitely speak. Irv will be out of town, unfortunately.
That is unfortunate.
And then as soon as your book comes out, I got to get you to come back for that. And any other time that I can get you to come, Irv?
Absolutely.
Is she welcome?
No, we could just create an excuse for her to come. I don't care.
Well, Joan, we thank you so much for coming on the show and talking to us today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Again, our guest today has been Miss Joan Jefferson, entrepreneur, executive coach, and speaker. If you would like to get more information on how you can work with Joan and she can help enhance your business, go to her website, joanjefferson.com. We'd like to thank you for tuning in to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. I'm John Cruz.
I'm Irv Hughes.
And this is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. Until tomorrow, be smart, be successful, and above all else,
be in action.
And Irv and I'll see you tomorrow.
Take care.